everyone, welcome to my channel. It's the week of Thanksgiving, and even though this is kind of a bizarre holiday with suspicious roots, there are good sides to it, so I thought that this week we would focus on gratitude, and one of the things that I'm always most grateful for are my spirit guides. So I thought that on this week that we're celebrating gratitude, I would share with you all some ways that you can connect with your spirit guides. A lot of people know that they have spirit guides, or maybe you have had experiences that make you think that you've maybe met a spirit guide or received messages from your spirit guides, but a lot of people have no clue how to connect with them and how to receive messages from them. So I'm going to teach you guys a couple different ways to connect with your spirit guides so that you can start to form a relationship with them and you can start to do things like receive messages from them, ask them questions, and they can help you in your day-to-day life. Knowing your spirit guides just makes everything feel that much more supported, makes you feel loved and cared for, and it reminds you that you're not alone. You're never alone. You always have these guides with you. You always have these spirits beyond this physical realm looking out for you and guiding you on your journey. So the first way that you can connect with your spirit guides is through a guided meditation. And you don't have to necessarily listen to someone guide you through this. You can just know the steps to the meditation and guide yourself through it as you meditate. So the way that you would do this is you would settle yourself, find a comfortable seat. So once you're settled in your seat, you would imagine yourself standing at the opening of a cave. You would walk into this cave and imagine yourself walking through this cave, deep, deep into the cave. It gets darker, you're getting further and further into this cave, and then at a certain point you reach a wall of mist. And this wall of mist is something that you can walk through. So once you find this wall of mist, you want to pass through it and into the other side of this cave. Once you've done that, you'll keep walking through the cave, and eventually you'll find an ending to the cave. It will open into a new space. It might be a forest, it might be a snowy landscape, it might be a desert, it could be any kind of landscape. And then once you reach that point, you're going to continue to walk through this landscape until you find a house. It could be a very extravagant house, it could be a castle, a mansion, it could be a small little cottage. It could be a little lean-to, it could be any kind of structure. You're going to enter that structure, and upon entering this structure, that's where you'll meet your spirit guides. Now, you may meet one spirit guide, you may meet two spirit guides, you might meet one spirit guide that introduces you to another spirit guide. You might do this meditation a couple different times and meet a different spirit guide every single time you do it. And keep in mind that while you're doing this, you want to use all five senses to experience this meditation. So as you're going through the cave, use all five senses. As you're going through that wall of mist, use all five senses. When you arrive in that new landscape outside of the cave, use all five senses to describe what's happening to you and to be present with what's happening with you. Once you find the house that houses your spirit guides, really spend time looking at it. Think about, how do things smell? Do I feel warm? Do I feel cold? Does the air feel humid? Does it feel dry? Really see the house. If you can, imagine yourself walking up to the house and touching it. How does it feel? Listen for any sounds. Maybe there's music playing. Maybe there's wind blowing. Maybe there's a waterfall nearby. Maybe there's a stream. Maybe there are campfires. It could be any number of things. So pay attention to all these things. These things will help you to understand your spirit guides and understand what you're connected to. And once you've met your spirit guide, or maybe you've met more than one spirit guide in that home that you found, you're going to ask them some questions. Some questions that you can ask are, you can ask them what they help you with, what that particular spirit guide helps you with. Certain spirit guides have certain specialities, so it could be that one spirit guide is a healing spirit and they help with any healing work that you do. It could be on yourself or on others. It could be that one spirit helps you do shadow work. It could be that another spirit helps to teach you a certain lesson that you're learning in this life. It could be any number of things that this spirit guide is charged with helping you with. So ask them questions. Ask them why they're present for you and what they can help you with. You can even ask them if they have a name or if you can call them anything. You can ask if they have a symbol that represents them, and you can write that down so you can incorporate that into your practice. And pay attention to how these spirit guides look and how they present themselves. Some spirit guides will present themselves as an animal, while others do appear to be a human. If they're human, pay attention to if they're wearing any clothes. Pay attention to if it's a masculine spirit, a feminine spirit, a non-binary spirit. Just really spend time with them, get to know them. Another thing that you can ask them upon meeting them is, how can I honor you more? How can I involve you more in my life and in my spiritual practice? They might give you prayers to do. They might tell you to do a certain ritual. They might tell you to put a certain thing on your altar to honor them. They might want you to burn a candle for them. It could be any number of things. And another question that I highly recommend asking, because it really helps to cultivate your relationship with your spirit guides, is you can ask them how they'll send you messages. So for example, when I first met my spirit guide that helps me specifically with Reiki and with Reiki healing, they told me that they will send me feathers as messages. So I consistently receive feathers. I find them all over the place. I find them in the strangest places. And based on what kind of bird the feather's from, the color of the feather, where I found the feather and when I found the feather, how I felt when I found the feather, all those types of things helped me to interpret the messages that my specific Reiki spirit guide is sending me. So you can ask them, how can I expect to receive messages from you? They might tell you that they'll send you messages through the weather. They might tell you feathers like they do with me. They might tell you that they'll send you messages through numerology. Maybe they'll send you messages through numbers throughout your day and throughout your life. They may tell you that they are going to send you messages through music and through song. So ask them those questions so that you can identify things that they're trying to tell you throughout your life. Another way to meet your spirit guides is to open the Akashic Records. This way is a little bit more complicated because you have to understand the Akashic Records and know how to work in them. So if you're interested in opening the Akashic Records and meeting your spirit guides that way, I do have a video that I made on the basics of the Akashic Records, but if you're wanting to really start working in the Akashic Records, I recommend the book by Linda Howe, How to Read the Akashic Records. So pick that book up and give it a read if you want to know how to open the records using the pathway prayer. And same thing, if you use the Akashic Records to meet your spirit guides, ask them all the questions that I said before. Ask them how they'll send you messages, who they are, if they have a name, if they have a symbol, maybe they have a color that's associated with them, maybe they have a certain incense that they like you to burn. Ask them how you can honor them and what offerings they would like to receive. Ask them all kinds of questions. Another way to meet your spirit guides is to journey. I do have a video about journeying where I lead you on a journey to meet your power animal. And there are also books about journeying, but journeying is a shamanic technique. So if you do know how to journey, this is a great way to meet your spirit guides. It's the way to meet your spirit guides. Journeying is when you travel to either the lower world, the upper world, or the middle world. The lower world is where your spirit guides reside. So you would journey to the lower world with the intention of meeting your spirit guides, or maybe you have a specific thing that you're wanting a spirit guide for, such as healing work, spell work, divination. Maybe you're going through a hardship in your life and you want to meet a spirit guide that will help you to deal with that hardship. So you would go to the lower world with that intention and meet that spirit guide or those spirit guides and ask them all the same questions that I've said before. So if that's something that resonates with you, maybe watch my video on journeying or pick up some books on how to journey. Or if you don't know how to journey and it seems kind of complicated to you, do one of these other methods that I'm telling you. And the last way that I'm going to share with you all that is a really simple but very effective method for meeting your spirit guides is more of a mediumship type of way of connecting with your spirit guides. So the way that this works is you're simply going to, like you did with the guided meditation, you're going to find a comfortable seat, you're going to settle your energies, prepare yourself to meet this spirit guide. And once you feel settled, you're going to simply ask your spirit guide to present themselves. You're going to ask to feel their presence. You're going to ask them to come forward. So within your mind, with your eyes closed, ask them to come forward. Now, this first time they come forward, you're just getting a feel for them. So don't immediately try to get all the information about them at once. Just focus at first on their presence. Don't worry too much about what they look like, what they sound like, what their name is. All that information will come later on. First, ask them to be present and simply note, how do I feel? Can I feel their presence? Do they feel like a light spirit? Do they feel like a heavy spirit? What emotions are coming up for you as they're arriving? Get all those immediate feelings down. Do they feel warm? Do they feel cold? Do you suddenly feel energized? Do you suddenly feel very relaxed? Notice all those things and ask them to step away. Then write all that down. Then you're going to do the same thing again. But this time, when you ask them to come forward and be present, you're going to receive more information. So the first time you were just getting a baseline of what they feel like, what their presence is like. Now you're going to start to get more into, what do they look like? What are they wearing? Are they an animal? Are they a human? Where are they from? What language do they speak, if they speak a language? What kind of spirit guide are they? What do they help you with? That's when you're going to start getting that information. So you can ask these things in your mind. And when you feel you are receiving those answers, write them down so you don't forget them. So on this second time, you're starting to feel what they physically look like. You may get images in your mind of what they look like. You may just have an overwhelming feeling of knowing what they look like. That's called clear cognizance, so go with that. So it's not just about what you feel like you're seeing them look like in your mind's eye. It's also about how you feel they look. Maybe there's a smell that you smell when you feel their presence. Notice all these things and write them down. And then ask them to step away again. And then the third time, you're going to ask them to step forward again and be present for you again. And this is when you're going to ask all those questions we've talked about. So ask them, are there offerings I could give you? What do you help me with? Are you a healing spirit? Are you a teaching spirit? Are you a motherly spirit? Are you a self-love spirit? Are you a divination spirit? It could be so many things. So ask them what they're there for. Ask them how they'll help you, how they'll send you messages, and how you can identify those messages. Ask all those questions we've talked about. And once you've received that information, thank them and ask them to step away and write all those things down. Having a relationship with your spirit guides is so amazing. It really enriches your life and your spiritual practice. I'm grateful for my spirit guides every single day. They send me messages of reassurance. They warn me of things. They help me with things. They make me feel loved by myself and by powers beyond my knowledge and beyond my understanding. So I hope that this video is helpful. I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I hope that you connect with your spirit guides and that it goes really well and you can start to form a relationship with them. Do remember that your spirit guides are beings. So just like anyone, you have to treat them with respect. You have to honor them and keep up with your relationship with them. If you're serious about knowing them and serious about having them in your life, you have to communicate with them consistently. And this is something that you can ask them when you meet them. How can I cultivate my relationship with you? It might be through offering, it might be through ritual, it might be through prayer, it might be through spell work, it might be through study. So ask all those things. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. If you have any questions or videos that you really want to see, topics you really want me to talk about, leave those in the comments and I will prioritize them. I love to take requests. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Remember to honor the indigenous people this Thanksgiving. It is a holiday that is rooted in some messed up stuff. So honoring the story of the indigenous people of the United States and remembering that we are all on stolen land. So look up the tribes that are living on the land that you're celebrating Thanksgiving on if you celebrate. I'll leave in the drop box below a link to a website where you can easily look up what tribes owned the land that you are currently living on. Be safe, wear a mask, don't do anything foolish. Socially distance, please socially distance. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Blessed be.